Can you really retire at 62 and save $400,000 on your 401k plan? Here is honest math. Frankly, if you have $400,000 in your 401k account, staring at your 62nd birthday and wondering if you can eventually leave the job, the answer is yes. A little no. By calculation, the difference between the two answers is about $14,000 a year for the rest of your life. The number is not speculation. That is what Social Security, loyalty, and pioneers quietly tell anyone willing to do math. For the next 10 minutes, I'll take you through the reality of retiring at 62 and $400,000 in 2026, including real income, health traps that no one warns you, permanent Social Security cuts. That could change everything. Be with me because it matters. Let's take a look. First, because $400,000 sounds like either wealth or change, depending on whom you ask. According to Pioneer S. How America Saves 2025 report, the average 401k balance for Americans ages 55 to 64 is about $271,000. The median has been falling to around $95,000. If your account stops at $400,000, you are already ahead of most colleagues and easily in the top 3. But it felt uncomfortable. By age 67, Fidelity suggests you can save 10 times your final salary, 12 times if you plan to retire early. That means if you make $60,000 a year, by age 67, $400,000 will be 10 times that. Instead, pull the trigger at 62. Suddenly, your savings have to be extended for 5 years, and this was never built for it. 5 years before the full payment of Social Security. 5 years before Medicare went into effect. Account losses without compound interest for 5 years. Most of the trouble started here. Let's run actual math. Because numbers penetrate wishful thinking faster than anything else. The famous 4% rule. It was founded in 1994 by a financial advisor named William Bengen. Suppose you can safely withdraw 4% from your portfolio in the first year of retirement and then increase year by year as inflation increases. $400,000 or $16,000 a year before tax. That is the whole result of your 401k plan. Now, pay Social Security. Remember, for people born in 1960 or later, 30% of long hair requires 62 locks. Social Security retirement benefits received in January 2026 averaged $2,071 a month. But if you reduce that number and apply in advance, your monthly salary is about $1,450. If you are an average earner, $17,400 a year. Add the two together, and your starting income drops to about $33,000 a year before taxes. Is that feasible? Stretching to parts of Mississippi, Tennessee, or Ohio, you feel pressure every month in California, New Jersey, or near a major subway. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that in 2024, the average household expenditure for people 65 and older was $61,432. That is almost double the actual output of $400,000. And Social Security has declined. The gap is not small, pretending to be why people start working again. At age 68, now when it comes to Social Security, most people really don't understand. I want you to lock in that part. The 30% cut you accepted at age 62 is not temporary. When you reach full retirement age, it doesn't quietly repair itself. It will be with you for the rest of your life. If your spouse lives longer than you, their survivors' benefits will be dragged down forever. The Social Security Bureau is outspoken on its website. Applying directly at age 62 can reduce benefits by as much as 30%. For people born in 1960 or later, the full retirement age is 67 until 70. Your benefits climb to 124%. That is, if you delay until after age 67, guarantee an annual raise of 8% in real dollars. The highest earners in history earned $2,969 a month in 2026 to $62, but the same person can charge $5,181 a month at age 70. The same work experience, the same people, just different start dates. I'm not telling you to wait, because sometimes it makes sense to declare in advance, especially if you have health problems, if you really need cash, or if you plan to spend hard in your 60s. You can still travel and move freely. Break. Even ages are typically between 78 and 80. If you don't expect to go that far, early claims are certainly the right choice. You just need to understand the industry, because no one walks you through the Social Security office. They're just processing documents. Now, we re-62 and retired, destroying more financial plans than anything else. This is health care. Medicare doesn't start until age 65. In other words, retirement at 62 allows you to live alone for 3 years. It is not cheap to be alone at 62. For people in their early 60s, a full-price ACA market plan can run more than $1,000 a month without subsidies. A total of $36,000 had passed in the 3 years before you paid the deductible. The ACA does offer premium subsidies based on revenue, and because your taxable income at early retirement can be controlled by how much you choose to withdraw from your 401k, many early retirees eventually qualify for generous subsidies. This is a reasonable strategy. However, the subsidies expanded by the Inflation Reduction Act will expire at the end of 2025. The future of these enhanced credit is indeed up in the air. So, whatever your plan, create a buffer. Even if Medicare does start, it is not free. And Fidelity S 2025 Retiree Healthcare Estimates, published 24 years in a row. 65-year-olds who retire in 2025 are expected to spend an average of $172,500 on healthcare for the rest of their lives. That figure is after tax per capita, and a couple should plan to roughly double it. Health insurance alone wiped out nearly half of your $400,000 for now. Here are some hard-hit cases. Smart Asset calculated this. To be honest, the results were brutal. Put the same $400,000 into a basic S&P 500 fund and continue to work for 5 years until age 67. The account could grow to more than $640,000. Apply for Social Security at retirement age instead of 62. Your benefits jumped from $17,000 a year to about $25,000. Pile everything together. $640,000 portfolio, 4% withdrawal rate. Full Social Security, you make about $71,000 a year. By contrast, if you leave at 62, you live on $33,000. Work 5 more years. Double your lifestyle. That is the part nobody talks about. The IRS actually rewards people who sit at this exact age window because thanks to Secure Act 2.0, anyone between the ages of 60 and 63 can now pay an additional $11,250 in super catch-up, $401k, above the usual limit, starting in 2025. This is a real benefit. If you are 62 and you have $400,000 in your account after 5 years of positive contributions, coupled with market growth and increased Social Security inspections. When you stop, Medicare is locked in. Another form of retirement. Not the answer everyone wants to hear, but the honest answer. I am not sitting here telling you that no one can retire for $400,000 at age 62 because people all over the country do it every day. It is time for it to really work. Your house either pays or closes because no mortgage is the biggest cheating code for early retirement. Your zip code is in low-cost states like Tennessee, Alabama, or parts of the Midwest. That is why more American retirees are quietly moving to places like Portugal or Mexico. Spouses who are still working or receiving pensions can completely change the calculation because these two income streams create breathing space that solo retirees simply don't have. And the people who do it are really good, and their lives are relatively simple. Fewer vacations, older cars, home-cooked meals, time with grandchildren, not Mediterranean cruises. Perhaps most important, they developed a healthcare plan and stress tested it during a depressed year because no one wants to admit. But if the stock market falls 25% in your first year of retirement, that $400,000 shrank to $300,000, and the 4% rule was largely broken. The return risk sequence is what financial planners call it. It is the silent killer of early retirement plans. So Can you retire at 62 for $400,000? Yes, people succeeded. But retirement can mean something different. That could mean years of part-time work, or moving to cheaper places, or delay Social Security until age 65 or 67 and fill the gap with 401k. Almost certainly, that means looking at every dollar in a way you haven't used in a long time. The fact that no one really wants to be on the cover. The difference between a nervous retirement and a comfortable one is usually not winning the lottery. 3 to 5 years of work. A few smart Social Security decisions, not blinded by medical costs. If you learn from this crash, do me a favor, click the subscribe button because we break it down every week. Then leave a message below to let me know if you plan to retire at 62, 65, or 67. Yes. See you next time.